There's something I realized a while back, and I haven't said it to anyone. I want to hear what you think, because this one hit me hard. It has to do with pictures, videos, recordings, even this one I'm making right now. Anything that captures a moment, a snapshot of a memory, or a timeline. I started thinking about how the technology we use to record things is way more sophisticated than we understand. I don't think people realize that. I've never heard anybody talk about it. It just came to me one day, out of nowhere. When we look back at old photos, sometimes we remember the moment clearly, and sometimes we look at a picture we're in and think, I don't even remember being there. Maybe we were little. Maybe it wasn't long ago. It doesn't matter. The point is, sometimes the memory is vivid, sometimes it's barely there, and sometimes it feels like it wasn't even part of our life at all. And here's what I think is actually happening. The technology, the camera, the video, whatever tool captures that moment, is anchoring a specific timeline. When I say they, I'm talking about the energies or beings behind the matrix, the ones who feed off human energy. They need certain timelines, specific ones, because those are the ones they can harvest energy from. So they anchor those timelines by capturing them. Think about how often two people reminisce and tell completely different stories about the same moment. It's unbelievably common, and it's because they weren't in the same reality. Two people can stand side by side, living the same situation physically, but experiencing completely different versions of it. One person says the sky is purple, the other swears it's blue. One hears a sound, the other hears nothing. One sees something move, the other sees nothing at all. We never question it, but it happens constantly. Now, back to the technology. When you look at a photo, it draws in, it pulls in, a specific timeline. A timeline you might not even be living in anymore. Maybe a timeline you never actually lived in within your current dimension. But because the picture exists, your brain anchors it as your past. The technology decides which version of the past you remember. That's why sometimes a photo brings up nostalgia, a certain feeling, even if the memory is faint or strange. It's pulling in a timeline that was chosen to be anchored. Without the photo, you might have never remembered that moment at all. You might not have experienced that timeline in your current reality until the image forced it into your field. And now people are talking about the Great Convergence. All these timelines merging together, but only certain ones are being pulled out and anchored. Usually the ones with trauma, because that's the energy that can be harvested the easiest. Trauma loops, trauma memories, emotional charge. Now here's where this gets personal. Philip and I have argued so many times about memories. Things we both swear happened one way, but completely differently in the other person's mind. He remembers a moment entirely differently than I do. And for the longest time I was confused. Until I realized he was in a different dimension at that time. And so was I. Same moment, same location. Two different realities. And whenever there's a picture taken, the technology can override what we actually experienced and lock in whatever timeline it wants us to remember. It anchors that version into our minds. That's why people fight over memories. Relationships break because, no, it happened this way. No, it didn't. Wars have started over arguments about the past. And the whole time, both sides are telling the truth, because they were never living in the same dimension to begin with. And the wildest part? You can move between these timelines. You can step into someone else's memory and actually see it their way, then step back into your own and see the version you lived, then into another branch and see a completely different version. This is how the past can change. Not because the physical event changes, but because consciousness shifts timelines and the memory reorganizes around the new dimension you're tuning into. People are finally starting to talk about it, changing the past. And honestly, I think they're right.